this. Here we go. Yay. And you have to pardon me also. I only have the free version of StreamYard, folks, so we'll have to put up with a little duck in the corner. But
Oh, not the duck. Duck.
I'll pimp it out later once I splurge on the paid. But anyways, what's that?
Can't focus with that duck there.
Yeah. Actually, I know it is a little unnerving, but it's staring at me.
Anyway, yeah, great to be here. This is my first live stream I've ever done in my life.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Well, that makes two of us. So
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
I hope it goes well. Yeah. But yeah, I'm liking the StreamYard pretty so far. It is super easy. And luckily, I did get a new camera. I am streaming in 720. I was worried that the bandwidth was going to be really poor and we're going to be all garbled. But man, so far it looks good.
So far, so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Best.
So 10 o'clock in Melbourne. Peter's in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah, I mean, it might sound a bit strange to start drinking at 10 in the morning on a Saturday, but I am Australian, and that is what we do here. So.
Interesting. Speaking of Australians, I heard the two groups of people that are the most similar that are from different countries are Texans and Australians. Have you heard that before?
Ooh. I've heard them compared.
Yeah.
I think you can make an argument for that, but also you make an argument for Australia and Canada.
Sure.
It's kind of odd, but there is a Texan aspect to Australia, definitely.
Yeah, the rugged individualist or the...
In the desert. Oh, no, is it desert? Well, anyway.
Yeah, West Texas, West Texas is very dry and arid for sure, but...
Yeah.
Well, so anyways, before we begin, actually, I did have this kind of an epiphany, and this is just kind of a weird thought I had today. But in terms of, INFP discussion, we'll definitely get into a lot of that this evening, but, a lot of times when you're watching INFP videos and things like that, you'll hear people say INFPs and ENFPs, they feel things very intensely. And that's always kind of, that's true. I think that's true. But I thought of just a simple word that I've never really heard used before to kind of describe that feeling intensely. And that is just simply wanderlust. So,
yeah.
And I know you experienced wanderlust when your first week or more in Japan, which we'll get to, right? I mean, because for me, I know I've mentioned in my videos before, I have this fascination with airports and travel and malls, not all malls necessarily, but just really nice malls, not dumpy, no one gets wanderlust in a dumpy mall, I don't think, but you know what I mean? There is a kind of a wanderlust.
Well, I have the same thing. I don't know how common it is. My first time I went to Japan was 2010 for just a week, and a lot of that was wanderlust in malls and airports. It really was. And I don't, because I kind of do hate malls and shopping centers and everything about it. I really do. And I find it very difficult these days to go to a shopping center. But there is a wanderlust in Japanese malls, definitely, at least when I first went. But,
Yeah, I can.
But what is that about? And transport? Is it...
Well,
I love airports.
On a biological level, I've heard it's just basically just dopamine, and we do tend to have heightened nervous systems. I mean, I've heard that from multiple sources that
INFPs?
Yep, INFPs and ENFPs, they literally have the physical nervous system is just more heightened, and it's more receptive to any kind of stimuli, and that stimuli can trigger dopamine. And I'm butchering that description, I'm sure, quite a bit, but
yeah, I guess it would be as a result of the idea of wanderlust. It's just new ideas and expressions is supercharged, especially in ENFP and INFP brains. There's that book by what's his name, Dario Nardis. Have you heard of him? He's got this book called The Neuroscience of Personality, and he did these brain scans of loads and loads of MBTI types, and ENFPs especially had this brain that was like a Christmas tree. to
I can
most
see that.
situations. So like while most other types would, like, depending on the situation, it would focus on whatever they wanted to focus on, and ENFP especially, I think ENTP as well, and then INFP not quite as much, but quite a lot too. They go into a Christmas tree pattern, they're taking in all stimuli, and it sort of creates huge rushes in the brain, and then it also creates huge drops of exhaustion from it all.
Well, we can relate to that as well, for sure. But yeah, it also reminds me, and just real quick before this, I mean, I love this artist, Owsey. He's an English musician. I've used him in some of my little weird videos, but this one, like, just I think this is like the best picture of, like, if we were just to guess what type would this artist or this, this girl be, it's like INFP, of course. I mean, look, and this is like Wonderlust, if you ask me. That is like just the most,
Yeah. There's no
yeah,
doubt. There's no doubt. It'd be
yeah. Just looking into the, I mean, this is kind of like what I think a lot of times, like our dreams and sorry, I'm, you know what I mean? It's interesting. But going back to what you were just talking about, though, I do have to recommend. I just saw this the other day, but Alexis Kingsley, she's a really good MBTI and cognitive function. She has a great channel, and she does like videos breaking down everyone's cognitive stack. And don't get me wrong, there's loads and loads of great YouTubers that do this, but I have to say, like, her INFP video was so spot on.
right.
It really broke down each function, and she gave like really great practical examples for each function, and it was fantastic. And I definitely applauded her in the comments. I was like, wow, this is like probably the best one I've seen. And I had gaps in my own understanding, and you've kind of filled them pretty well. So, but I would recommend just Alexis Kingsley. But anyways, in that video, to get back to what you're talking about, she did have like a map. She used like this illustration, and she was talking about how originally, like, Carl Jung's cognitive functions, like, I guess it was Carl and maybe those beyond him, but they did map out in the brain. Like, so for an INFP, these parts of the brain are triggered, for these certain things, and then an ESTJ, these, and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of funny when you mention an ENFP, because I think we all have experiences with ENFPs. My daughter's the ENFP, like a poster child ENFP, and man, she is all over the place, like all the time. And so I can only imagine her brain is, like you mentioned, just firing off on everywhere, and then it just like this big collapse after she's exhausted herself, But
When I came back from living in Japan for a year, I didn't want to just sort of move back in with my parents or anything. I did for a month or two. And then I moved in with my ENFP cousin, who's 10 years younger than me, and I lived with him for a year. It was an INFP, ENFP household, 2 boys, and it was
how was
pretty
that?
fun, like, in a dangerous way. Like, I come home from work, and like, he's there playing the banjo. He's got a cocktail waiting for me just before I come in through the door. He's just, it was just constant voices and mimicry and laughing and shouting, and it was pretty fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it was interesting seeing the differences between ENFPs and INFPs as well, because they are really different.
Yeah,
In some
right,
ways. Yeah.
right. No, they are, for sure. Well, let's get into you and your experience. So, like, one of the first things I wanted to talk about was basically just start with, like, so when did you first take the test yourself?
Yeah. So the way it went was, I kind of forgot about it, but I did do it at some point in high school. I think I was about 14 or 15, and I just remember doing a test. Just, what is this crap? Blah 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 blah, and then you get this description back. You are an INFP, and I read it, and I'm like, whoa, what? And I found it scrunched up somewhere. Well, so I scrunched it up somewhere, and then that was like 1998 or something, and then I didn't care about it at all until 2017, because my ENFP cousin was going out with a girl, and she was watching us interact, and she's like, hey, you're an INFP and he's an ENFP, and that's why you two have this dynamic. And I was like, huh? And I went back to drinking. and that sparked something. And then my friend, I think it was 2016, I think MBTI blew up or something online, and my friend, I have an ISFJ friend. Are you watching, Kev? Who, who got obsessed with it for a while, and he got me into it. And I still was skeptical. I didn't care. I couldn't work out the difference between S and N. But I got interested, and we started having debates. And I think what got me obsessed with it was just trying to work out ex-girlfriends and dynamics, and that's it. And trying to see patterns there. And when I saw, it took about a year of thinking through what everyone's type was, and when I started seeing patterns, I thought that was really interesting.
Well, let me ask you this. So, because when you mentioned past girlfriends, oh my gosh, I've thought about that so often too. Have you done this? Have you been so curious about an ex-girlfriend's type that you considered sending a message to her on Facebook? It's like, hey, sorry, I hope you're well. Would you just take this test real quick and I just want to make sure, like, I think I know what you are. Would you just take this real quick and let me know? Have you ever tried that? Have you thought about that?
Oh, definitely thought of it. In most cases, what I've done is I've wanted to, and then they've posted, for instance, one ex-girlfriend posted online that they were an INTP. And I was like, no, they're an INFJ. And I had to contact them and tell them, you've got it all wrong. You're an INFJ. You don't realize. All my exes are INFJs. You don't realize. And I didn't say it in those words. I just said, I think you're an INFJ. But,
yeah. Hilarious.
Yeah. And then some others have contacted me randomly from seeing my YouTube videos. And
oh, interesting.
Told me their type, and another INFJ.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, another one.
Yeah. I would say, I want to ask about the INFJ, but I will say, like, two of my ex-girlfriends that we really, really got along well with, and could have married either of them for sure. Like, and it's kind of funny because my wife is ISTJ, which I've mentioned, and that's like, wow, like, how did that happen? And that's still a mystery to me. I've been on Reddit forums, and you see all the female ESTJ INFP male, because I think, female INFP and any STJ male works. I think it's fine. It's easy, but an INFP male, it's almost kind of tough with any type, really. I mean, we can just be a mess. But no, I was going to say, so the two ex-girlfriends were really got on. They were ENFJs, and you hear everywhere, like, oh, ENFJ and INFP, they're the best, and kind of got to agree with you. I mean, both of them. So one of them I did one of them I still contact every once in a while. We talk, and she did take the test, and she was ENFJ, and the other one I was pretty sure she was, and the other one I haven't talked to her in 20 years. It would be really weird if I just contacted her, hey, take this test, please, and I just want to verify something. But I'm pretty sure she's ENFJ. But
yeah.
Anyways,
after a while you can pick it. I reckon it's like I've been into it. Yeah, as I said, since 2017, and I think 3 years in, everything clicked.
Yeah. Like you mentioned, you have an ISFJ friend. Like, I wouldn't be able to pick out an ISFJ friend. I don't really know. Like the top three. What are the top three easiest to type in your opinion?
Yeah. So for me, actually, I've been wrong here a few times, but INFP is the easy. Oh no, INFJ is now the easiest. And then INFP, INTP. I get mixed up with. Sometimes I've got mixed up with ENFPs, thinking they're ESTJs. I've had some INFPs who are ENFPs. That's kind of odd. So I've mixed up a few. INFPs and INTPs can be mixed up. Yeah.
Well, in terms of, like, talking to someone just for 5 minutes, a total stranger, and then being able to, like,
work out their type.
Yeah. In that sense, what's the easiest to type? Was that what you were?
Yeah, it's INFP. It's the easiest for me. Obviously. It is.
Well, for me, okay. For me, it's ENFP. I think ENFPs are, like, they're so hard to miss, INFP is probably number two. And maybe it's just because of me, and I've lived with the ISTJ for 21 years. I think ISTJs are pretty easy to spot. Yeah. I mean, there's some really... there's a lot of things I like about ISTJs. I was going to do a video because as we all know, there's just a glut of videos on INFPs and YouTubers, like the good YouTubers who are already monetized and all that kind of stuff. They know where the money is, and it's with the INFP, so they're pumping out
Chasing
INFP
the
videos
INFP
like
dollar,
crazy.
right?
What's that?
Yeah, chasing the INFP dollar.
Yeah.
Look, I've gone down that road.
Well, if you look at, if you go to different MBTI YouTuber channels and you just look at the number of views, and it's the INFP videos that are always like just
Yeah.
just
Was it the other
blown
day,
up.
Eric, do you watch Eric Thor? Do you know him?
Yeah, I love Eric Thor. Yeah.
He's been very honest about that. Gotta
Yeah,
do another
right.
INFP
No, he
video to
has.
get 2 years up.
Yeah. I mean, I love them all. I mean, honestly, I do love them all, but I understand, like, hey, we're all on here to, try. Well, not me per se. Like, this is really, I've talked about my passion is blogging. I try to monetize my blogs and things like that, but
Yeah.
this is just where I just get things off my chest, and
Yeah.
hopefully we can, do more of these. The live stream, I'm really loving this, but, but like, Eric Thor and Frank James, Frank James he's kind of up and down. I'm seeing some people make some, I don't know. I like them all. They all have something to offer. They all have,
Yeah.
well, so, yeah. All right. So,
When I first get into MBTI, I think you were at. But yeah, anyway, I guess I've covered all that.
well, I wanted to ask though, so, and you did mention it. Yeah, so one of the first things you think of is like you start recalling your past girlfriends, and you're just wondering like, oh, did it not work out because of this kind of difference in our personalities? But I did want to ask, like, so did you have did you go into like recollections of your past and like, oh, okay, I probably, like when you were a youth, like when you were young, just, oh, I was probably this way because of my type, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, the most beneficial thing for me about the whole INFP thing and why I'm so obsessed with it and annoying the hell out of my family and friends
Yeah.
on this, like, it's like, oh my God, I'm allowed to
question.
be, it made me feel like it's okay to be the way I am. I mean, a lot of INFPs say this, right? That you kind of thought you were broken because the system's very,
Yeah.
education and everything is so STJ or whatever, and you feel
Right.
really, that hits ENFPs and INFPs really hard because it's the opposite. It can be the opposite. And that's not to say that INFPs and ENFPs don't flourish in that environment. And you see ESTJs and ISTJs who can't flourish at all. Like my brother's an ESTJ and he just couldn't cope with the schooling system at all. So it's not about that, but just the mentality, I guess, about systems in general feels like an attack on you. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, everything, like I love looking at old videos of me as a kid being an INFP, like,
Right.
I still remember, I don't know if this is an INFP thing. I think it is, like crazy memories that like you can remember really far back. Like I remember my first day of primary school, prep, we call it here, when I was 5. And I remember like we all lined up and we're all first day of school, and then you all go in, follow the teacher into the classroom. And I was like, wow, my first day of school. And I'm like, wow, and I look at the clouds and look at the sky, or this great new world. And then I look around and there's no one there because I've been looking at the clouds for an hour.
You were in Wanderlust.
Yeah, and everyone's gone into, they all started without me, and I've just been staring at the clouds for an hour. And
No, for sure. That's yeah. So it's funny. Like if two teachers saw you out there and they knew about MBTI, they're like, "There's our INFP,"
yeah.
Give me your INFP. Yeah. No, that's definitely a very INFP thing to do for sure. And I have a similar story because we do tend to be. We can be spacey. Let's just be honest. We can space out big time. I've mentioned that in my videos already. But my mom one time, this is probably about seven-ish. She had told me, "Hey, we're getting ready to eat. Go wash your hands." And I just looked at her and said, "What hands? Just what hands?" Like,
Well, yeah.
so you can just replace blonde moment with INFP moment. I mean, it works. They're interchangeable, really. Let's just be honest. I mean, what hands? Like, wow.
Another INFP moment, again, 5 and 6, maybe that's when I've got a theory that's like full INFP mode without much dilution. Maybe not, but like I remember my uncle had this girlfriend who he later married and then later divorced. And she was over for dinner one night,
Mm-hmm.
and I was bored listening to this whole thing. And I had this cup of milk that I was drinking from a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cup. And I'd been drinking the milk for a while, but I couldn't see, like, from where I was sitting, I couldn't see whether I had like that much milk left, that much milk left, that much. I couldn't tell because I couldn't see any milk. And I guess what you should do is look and see. I don't know. I think that's what a human being does. But I was like, how do I? And for me, the only rational way to know if there was any milk left in this cup to drink was if I used to I'd finish my cup of milk and then there'd just be a few drops at the bottom and I'd like let it drop on my head and that's how I'd know there's no more milk left in the cup. I think that's pretty rational. And so we're all having this nice family dinner and I was just spaced out and I just got this milk and it was full. So I just went and poured this milk all over me and it caused this massive scene. My dad said he'd never been so embarrassed. Is that an INFP?
That's so INFP. That is so INFP. And INFPs that are watching now or in the replay will definitely, like, we should just toast to that. Might as well, right? Let's just, that's an awesome INFP moment. And when you mention a moment like that, that just makes me feel more normal because that's how we all are as INFPs. What's that?
Oh, wait, I might just see how much beer is left in this now. No, but I have learned since I was 5, but it's just, it struggles.
Yeah, well, don't do the beer. That's alcohol abuse. Don't do that now.
Oh, yeah, no, I won't do that.
That's, yeah, we got to learn from our... Okay, so... let's talk about your channel. Your YouTube channel is absolutely hilarious. I love it so much. And everyone, please go subscribe to his channel and binge watch. I really did. I binge watched like I saw all of your videos in probably a day and a half, maybe something like that. And they're just hilarious. So I kind of want to. One of them is one of the most INFP activities I've ever seen in my life, and it's called hitokara, right? So, and we're just going to go ahead. I asked his permission, and he said I could go ahead and play this video. So let me just bring this video in, and he will explain. I think this was 2014. This is a while back.
2014, in summer, very lonely year, living in Tokyo, not working, but this was my hobby. Some people play golf, some people go to the gym. I do hitokara, lonely karaoke.
And yeah, that actually is a question. So, did you do this often? Because I probably would have myself.
I was always going to be too nervous for it, but I had one of my INFJ girlfriends from Japan used to do it, and I was amazed by that and inspired. So I started doing it when I was
interesting.
At the right level of loneliness.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I make sure this is on full screen. Yeah. Okay. I hope everyone can hear this. Let me just make sure it's.
Have a look at these two guys who I spotted at Edoshima Beach the other day. Now these two guys are water ski hoons. They've hopped on water skis and they're having fun, but they're being kind of hoonish about it. They're kind of being like dickheads. And what struck me here is that one of the guys has fallen off his water ski and the other guy goes over, I assumed, to help him, but no, he just starts looping around him and splashing water on him, basically saying, I hope you drown, and then he just leaves him for dead.
So
I was just wondering, was this a duel? Did they actually go to settle some sort of argument here and that's why the guy was left for dead? Or is it more that the other guy was just a really bad friend to the other guy, like he's just a massive douchebag? I guess what I'm trying to say is that, Japanese people are pretty non-confrontational in general, but in this situation, they're not. But actually, that's got nothing to do with this video. What this video is about is this new hobby that I've been taking up while in Tokyo. And it's called hitokara. Hitokara. Hitokara stands for hitori, which means alone or lonely. Alone, mainly. And then karaoke, which is karaoke. Lonely karaoke. Going to karaoke by yourself, not with, your friends or with people you've just met or with whoever you work with. Just going by yourself, enjoying karaoke without the distractions of other people. So if you're a very sad, lonely person like me, this can be the perfect hobby. So what you do is you go, for instance, here to Shibuya, the busiest area, and you book a room by yourself. You walk into the place, you look around, set it up nicely for yourself, arrange it the way you want because you're the only person there. You have full control of the situation.
to do this before I die. You have a lovely voice, by the way. That's not easy to sing. Neither is Freddie. Good lord. I love this song. This looks so freaking fun. Yes, girl. Oh, yeah.
So there you go, Hito Kara. It's something that you might want to consider. Might seem a little bit sad, but that's because it is sad. But if I know my subscribers the way, I think you're probably quite sad too. And Tokyo is a sad place, so just try it. Try it once. Hito Kara. See if you like it. I like it. I'm gonna go back. Anyway, thank you for watching. I've been Peter Subrashi, and see you next time.
Dude, so good. What the hell? That's like...
Thank you. I mean, I edited that video in Australia after moving back from Japan. I think that might have been like 5 days. I'd already booked my ticket back to Australia at that point, actually. So I don't know if there's a bit of sadness going on when I was making that video just based on that.
Probably. I mean, there's always a little bit of sadness in the INFP. There's always a little bit.
I had been doing Hito Kara as a genuine hobby for a few months at that point. I was just trying to, because I was always singing and playing guitar and writing songs, and I moved to Japan and I didn't really do that for a while, and I assumed that my voice was fine, and I was at a bar one night and I was handed a guitar, and some drunk Japanese businessman asked me to sing Hey Jude, and I was like, I can do that, and I did the worst. I played the chords wrong, sung it so terribly. I had a friend with me, an INTP friend who I was trying to impress, and he said nothing, but I was like, oh my god, that was appalling, and I was so filled with shame that I spent months going to Hito Kara trying to develop my voice again. So
Did you improve, would you say?
Yeah, I did. I used to record myself every time, so 1 hour of
Okay, because I don't know where that video was in your Hito Kara journey. Was it towards the end?
It is the end.
Yeah, okay, because your pitch is really good. I mean, and your voice actually is really good too, right? And that's what I was able to, I watched that video, I don't know, 8 or 9 times at least, maybe. But what makes it so watchable is like your voice is really good there. I mean, and your pitch is really good. Like, if the singing portions of your video, like the pitch was off or whatever, I'd probably it's still a great video, but I'm just gonna go ahead and not. But no, it's good. Like your voice is great and it's on pitch, and it's just like, this is really cool, man.
A few people really like that video. It doesn't have many views, but a few people, it's their favorite. It's really interesting.
Oh, well, that's great. Well, and you do have other. I haven't seen a bad video on your channel. Like,
well, I did a mass delete a while ago.
No way.
Yeah, in late 2019, I've been to Belarus twice, and I was gonna go on this big journey making Belarusian videos in the same way as I've made the Japanese ones, but I wasn't in a good place. My Nikon camera wasn't working well. I didn't feel in the mood. So I just started doing videos where I would just talk. So I did a few videos inside a Belarusian hotel, and people really liked me just speaking without planning.
So they weren't comedic per se? They were... The ones you left, I mean, they're pretty much all like comedy.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to see...
Yeah,
Well, maybe for an INFP voice special, you can like for a limited time only make them all live for 1 week,
yeah.
and then you can.
Yeah, I could do that.
Are they just like made private, or you deleted them?
I think I just did a INFP death spiral one day and deleted them all for some reason.
No.
Maybe
Okay.
maybe in lockdown last year. At some
Mm.
point. Yeah, but
Well, I deleted a lot of stuff during lockdown too. Yeah, so I totally understand that.
well,
Okay.
my philosophy. I really like scripting something and putting a lot of work into the editing. I guess.
Oh, it shows. It shows.
Yeah, and I love those. You know, like a lot of these videos I've done, it's INFPs really hear all those little ENFPs too. They really hear all of the little sarcastic things, like
The Easter eggs, as I call them.
yeah, I
Yeah,
try
there's a lot. Yeah, like if you're a sad, lonely person like me,
Yeah.
like most people like won't gloss over that, but that's like comedy gold right there. And like there's another one where it's the Germany and Japan should team up again. Just the premise of the video is just like crazy, but like yeah, sure. So I had no problem like going down to the basement with the old Japanese man, But you said it like really fast, and it's just like people will miss it. But I was like, dude, I was in stitches. Like,
Thank you. That was where I discovered I didn't have to script everything though. Like that video was where I just come home from work and I got a new camera and I don't script it, but I do tell the same story about 4 times, and usually the 4th one's the best. You just keep writing it in your head,
Right.
but the words come out without just on the spot, and the best delivery is the first time you do it. And same with that Hitokara video. There's there's not really a script. There's a little outline, but when you're in the moment,
right.
and your brain fires up, you start saying all these things that just come out of your subconscious, and then
Right.
later when you're editing, it's like, oh, okay, I'm putting that in, and you edit out a lot of other stuff that doesn't work.
Well, I do love the randomness of your channel too, which
I think it's a problem.
no, well, there's no problem with the channel. There's no problem with the channel. It's just it's all about discovery on YouTube, which can be hard.
Yeah.
Like you would probably want to, and I don't want to. I'm not like some super digital marketing guru, but I kind of am. But no, not really. No, but I mean, I would want to make sure you're tagging it as comedy. Did you tag it as comedy, or did you?
No, I don't think I do. I don't.
See, that's probably what we have to do, because those are gold. Like you can't. I mean, they. Oh, and don't get me wrong. I mean, you've got like, a respectable amount of subscribers and views on, but they do deserve like a lot more, right? But maybe we should tag him as like comedy, and there's different ways you can do it. But
I might do that. Yeah, that sounds like a good thing to do. The reason I've got so many subscribers, really, mainly it's a few of the videos that went really big. But to begin with, it was just going to Japan and making a Japanese YouTube channel, and then living in Tokyo, and they have this annual YouTuber event there, or they did at the time anyway.
mhm.
And I just went and I wanted to be like a marketing guy. I wanted to get my name out there as a YouTuber. So I made a few videos traveling around that were just okay. And then I went to this this YouTube party where everyone was wasted. I was very nervous. So I bought a lot of cheap sake from a 7-Eleven. I put on a suit. I made my hair really like that because for some reason that's supposed to increase my confidence. And I just turned up absolutely wasted and saw all these people I'd been watching for years on YouTube. And hey, and I had a different YouTube channel name at the time. My name was Peter Subarashi, which means Peter.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, and people liked me, and I got invited to a karaoke event, and people wanted to do collaborations with me, and it
That
was a
must have been
great
the
night.
life, though. That must have been amazing, though, at that moment.
No,
You must have gone home and just like, what just happened tonight, right? Did you have that experience?
it's
Okay,
not-
go ahead.
It's never that positive with me. I I did it, and I loved it, and then I got on the train. I felt amazing, and then I started feeling depressed, and then people started reaching out to me, wanting to do collaborations, and I couldn't. Something stopped me from going down that path, and I think it was the right thing in my head telling me not to go down the path of. There was a community of YouTubers living in Tokyo. It was a scene.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know if it was that correct, but I just didn't like the scene. I felt
What
funny.
about the scene? What made you
A lot
feel
A lot
like
of people, like any YouTube scene, maybe there's drama develops, and then you get video. You can make videos about the drama, and there was a lot of that, and I couldn't. I was going to walk into it, but something stopped me. Even if I wanted to, something stopped me, and I couldn't. Like they played my videos at some event, and I was supposed to be there, but I went somewhere else, and I couldn't be part of it. But in retrospect, I'm glad. I think it helped. I think it was the right.
were these YouTubers? Was it like part of their character? Was there like a lot of fakery with these YouTubers? Were they like superficial? Or were they?
Yeah, like there's a thing in Japan with the Japanese culture thing. Like I loved Japanese crazy cartoons, and I still
Yep.
love all the Japanese culture stuff. But
Mhm.
on the other hand, I felt I was trying to get into a different part of Japan, and I did get into a different scene. My best friend was an INTP from London. We hung out together, and we both had a shared sort of suspicion about people overly, moving to Japan for anime purposes, and then, they embrace Japan, but then they kind of don't like Japanese people or
Right.
Japanese, like, there was a lot of that happening. And I was very big on making sure I had the right Japanese friends. I lived in a guest house with an INFJ and an ENFJ. I got them to do their types years later. Oh yeah, they're an ENFJ and an INFJ. The ENFJ was trying to push my channel for ages. He wanted me to be famous. Peter, I will make you famous, Peter-san. He wouldn't leave me alone when I lived in Japan. He would not rest until I was world famous. And I doubled down, and it never happened. And then I kept saying, you make your own YouTube channel. I can't, Peter-san, because I've been banned from YouTube for whatever ENFJ things he's been doing. But now he stuck to it, and this ENFJ friend of mine has like millions of views. He's like a massive Japanese YouTuber now. The guy who was trying to push me, now
Interesting. Oh
he's
my
making a
gosh.
living out of it. Yeah.
Is that the one by chance who? So there's one where it's talking about Western taste versus Japanese taste,
Yeah, he's the
and
one talking.
that's him. Is that him?
Yeah, I came up with the idea about Germans in Japan, but I was just hungover one day in Tokyo.
Yeah. Well, it's a funny concept, but the old man in that video, he did exist, right? I mean,
In which video?
the Germany and Japan teaming up again kind of thing.
Yeah, so I lived in a guest house in Tokyo. Next door to me, there was an ESTJ German.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you mentioned in the video.
lonely
Yeah.
ESTJ, and he used to get annoyed at me and Saya. So we'd go out for like weekend retreats and stuff and get drunk together, and it would have. It was I love these dynamics, like the INFP and the ENFJ, me and Saya. We would get very silly. We'd get drunk. We'd be singing on the streets. A lot of love between INFJ and like with males as well. ENFJ males.
I have to. Well, yes. No. I have two very, very, very good friends that are INFJs, but they're, and maybe this is because I'm a 9. I have like, and I don't want to lose track. Just let's remember where we are, because I have been drinking now, and we can go off into ultra tangents. But INFJs do tend to look to the future a lot in a kind of brooding, foreboding manner, and so like my well, I don't really talk to the one INFJ friend so much anymore, but the other INFJ, he's always like, something big's around the corner.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck, I just can't stop that shit. Like, I live in the moment. I'm a very optimistic kind of guy. Like, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. No one does, right? So just, that's the kind of aspect about INFJs that kind of drives me nuts. Like, so I just need like,
Yeah.
and I've told him what's frustrated me about him is because I told him, like, look, because I've said in my video too, I last year during, April to like June, when it was just really crazy with the COVID stuff, I had, my anxiety went like through the roof. The walls were closing in. You see COVID coming down to New York, and then just moving down to Texas, and I just lost it. It was crazy. And so I'm never going back there again. Like, I'm not going to that space again. I completely lost it, and it was horrible. I'm not going back there again. And so, but my INFJ friend, like almost like tries to pull me down into that space again. I'm like, dude, no, I'm not going there again. Like, I'm optimistic, and there are reasons to be optimistic. I mean, you can always find reason to be optimistic. And I'll just share one real quick.
Yeah.
Like, there's a restaurant down the road here called Comfort Cafe, totally run by recovering addicts. Okay, like I can go there, and it's donation only. You just pay, and the food looks extraordinary. It's amazing. I haven't been there yet, but I've read about it, and I'm gonna go there. But like that's where I live. I want to go to a restaurant and spend my time with recovering addicts, talking to them, helping support their cause, that sort of thing. I don't live in this space of, you know what I'm saying, the future, like all these kind of ominous things that could or may not happen. I just don't live in the future. So anyways, INFJs are kind of like that.
Well, it's. I think it is a typical. So my dad's an INFJ, and I've got a lot of INFJ tendencies, even though I'm an INFP with no similar cognitive functions. I've got INFJ in me through my dad, and my dad's one of them.
Well, no, they're fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Like, and he knows he's like, he literally said that. He said something in chat. Yeah, something big's around the corner. That's literally what he said. Yeah. And I was like, but I had already told him several times, a long time ago, like, dude, you need to stop. Like, look, I almost got on Lexapro. I never got on Lexapro because I did call my doctor and like, dude, it's bad. I might need something, but I didn't really want to get on an SSRI because they're so hard to get off and all this kind of stuff. And was able to like, well, in the whole COVID situation, did get better, and so that helped. And I did get out of the anxiety, and the walks in nature were tremendous. But
I have to discuss
what's that?
I have to discuss the walking thing because
for sure. Okay. Yeah. So, but I just told him like, please stop saying these kind of like foreboding things. Like, they don't do anything for me. Like, and you don't know the future, so just stop.
Like one of my best friends.
They serve no purpose.
Yeah, I mean, one of my best friends is an INFJ who doesn't do that at all. They go in both directions. I've got INFJs who need to stop being so foreboding stop dwelling on the past so much because INFPs.
Oh yeah.
And INFJs try not to do that as much, but unhealthy INFJs. We've got a comment here. Feed Your Head has asked, were they Enneagram 6s? Is that a classic INFJ? Well,
it's funny because I was going to mention that. Like your INFJ friend versus my INFJ friend are probably different Enneagram types.
Probably.
So that could probably, explain the difference. I don't know. Like my friend, I don't know what Enneagram he is. Do you know what your friend is by chance?
I think he might be a 4 just like me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, a fours, I don't think, based on my limited knowledge of Enneagram, probably just can't really be bothered by. They're kind of in the moment, like you're kind of in the moment, like you're exploring.
An individualistic sort of.
Yeah, for sure, and like just concentrating, spending time. Excuse me, about thinking about future events that could be negative or so. Just like there's just kind of no time for that, I think, with a 4. But my friend, I don't know. He's probably like a 1. He's a professor, English professor. We were in the Navy together. It's funny. Like I love his story. He was a bosun's mate. If anyone knows what a bosun's mate in the Navy, I mean, that's the guy who, they just do the grunt work on a ship when you're out to sea. They're the grunts basically. But he used the GI Bill, got his degree, got his bachelor's, got his master's, started teaching at university, and he's a great story, and it makes sense as an INFJ. I could totally see that as an INFJ, because that J really will get things done. You can definitely get pretty far, but yeah, it's just their foreboding. It's just like like enough. Yeah. But so I don't know. Yeah, it's probably the Enneagram difference.
I will say, like, in my life, looking back, and with all these patterns I was talking about, and I might change my mind in the future, but I found like people I've loved the most are INFJs and INFPs, and it's a constant thing. And and some of the people I've hated the most of also those 2 times. It seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a bit unfair. I shouldn't say no, not hated, but like got me most uncomfortable and the most comfortable. So like INFJs and INFPs can make me the most comfortable and the most happy, and unhealthy INFJs and INFPs make me the most uncomfortable. Like I
Yeah,
can
that
get
makes total
rashes.
sense.
I've caught rashes from some INFPs and INFJs from like, when they're really unhealthy, like if they're near me, if they're, yeah, because you can get into dark, and it's just the territory, I think, of being a introverted feeler and so ideological, and you can go that direction or you can go that direction. And I mean, I might be a hypocrite because I'm sure that I can get
Yeah.
like this too. And
Well, you were going to say something right before that. You said,
walking.
oh, walking. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm an INFP 9. I definitely go to 6 under stress. I try to learn from 6s about how to cope with the future foreboding tendencies.
I don't know much about 6s. I know 9s.
Well, this is a great segue for walking because feed your head, my brother or sister, walking will get you out of the foreboding tendencies in a big, big way. Okay, so
I coped very much last year through that. You know,
it's
when I was at
absolutely
my
amazing.
when I was at my lowest, I left my phone at home and went very far from my place on a train, and then I walked for 3.5 hours home. And by hour 2, you're like, oh my god, I'm healing. This massive thing is changing. I've
Yes.
got to do more. I've got to do more of it.
Yeah, ever since I got this office, and this is my last month here, actually, I haven't, because I'm really pushing hard on my blogs, and I got this office space because I got 3 kids at home and my wife, and my ISTJ wife just can't be bothered with my blogs and things like that. They're just like, that's so impractical, like it's your head's in the clouds, like you're never gonna make money with that, blah blah blah. Like, so I can't work at home in that environment, so I come here. But this office here did definitely put a damper on my walking, which is like, now I can. It's very hot in Texas right now, as you might imagine. Like today was almost 100. So like during the day, like for lunch, I can't. We have a walking trail. Like it's down here. It's great. It goes into nature. It's fantastic, but it's just way too hot. And like you can only walk for maybe 20 minutes before you're just absolutely about to pass out. But so you would agree though, right? So once you hit that 2 hour mark or so, because
Yeah, I think you said that in one of your videos.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, yes, yes. Because at the moment, I really I do 40-minute walks most days.
that's not bad though. I mean, for therapeutic purposes, 40 minutes will get the job done for sure.
Yeah,
Like when you need to, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's definitely something about the long walks. And there's a book. I think I mentioned this video, but Cal Newport has a book called Digital Minimalism, where he talks a lot about Henry David Thoreau, who went on daily 4-hour walks. I think it was like daily. I think at his peak he was doing 8 hours. He would do 4 in the morning and then 4 at night, which is like insane, right? It's like it was definitely a different time. With no internet, it's like, well, what's the best thing you can do? Probably walk. I mean.
You can always go like I don't know if you've read Crime and Punishment. Just walk for 3 days, in a mania around St. Petersburg. Sometimes I think of, sometimes when I'm doing long walks, I'm just like, am I doing a therapeutic walk, or am I just going insane through walking?
But even in that moment where you're questioning if you're going insane or not, you just for me, like if I'm in St. Petersburg and I'm lost and I'm on hour 2. I consider that like I'm just gonna embrace it and just like, because I'll be having wanderlust like we talked about earlier. I mean, for sure, like the architecture and the people. And that's what that is probably one of the best things about being an INFP is you can just experience those joys.
Yeah,
They are joys.
Yeah, I think people have been a bit confused at why I do that. And when I travel, especially when I was younger, Japan and whatever, I would walk all day.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was awesome, but you'd get like really unhappy. First time I did a long walk, I think my first time overseas alone was actually the US, and I just sort of walked from bottom of Manhattan to the top, I think. I don't know.
Oh,
And then I went
nice.
through massive misery spells, and then I perked up at some point, and then everything became magical. You go through
Right.
this roller coaster. But even here in Melbourne, like a few years ago, me and my INFJ friend decided to have, let's call them mushrooms, okay?
Right.
And we listened to Radiohead. We worshipped his cat.
Okay, computer, or which album by chance?
We went through. No, we actually decided to, like, once we were really on them and
Yeah.
worshipping the cat, we actually focused on Amnesiac, which is probably not a good choice. But we were hearing every guitar line and anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yep, got it. Yep.
But it faded off, and then the next day or two, I was in a bit of a bad mood, and I decided one night, I just walked down to the beach. Luckily in Melbourne, I wasn't too far from the beach where I was living at the time, and I did a 2-hour walk, and I was curious because I think I'd heard something about the state you can get into without any substances and have exactly the same feeling. And I walked by the beach at sunset, and I walked for the 2 hours through a nice neighborhood, and pretty soon, after around 2 hours, I was like, yeah, this is exactly the same feeling. I really felt it. There
Oh,
was no
interesting.
difference. I really felt the mind entered that exact experience without needing anything, and I think there's something in that.
Well,
And
once you,
yeah,
yeah, no, 100%. Like once you hit, like I would say, it also kind of depends on the pace you're walking. Like honestly, if you're just really going at a snail's pace, like you may never kind of hit what you experienced. But
yeah.
if you're just like going at a pretty good pace, once you
And if
get
I'm
to,
lost,
what's
I
again?
love that. And if I'm lost as well, if I don't exactly know where I am and I'm walking at a fast pace for a long time, that's how I trigger it, and I'm like in this amazing space.
Well, again, it happened to me kind of 1.5 times, I'd say, because the one time was like not so bad, but one time it's again, it's really hot here, and I did get lost, didn't have any water on me, and I kind of started to panic. I was like,
This is
oh
the problem.
shit.
You've got to the weather's got to be right too. Otherwise, it's misery.
No,
That's the
true.
other thing.
Well, if I have water and I have music, and some people will say like, oh, you can't listen to music when you're in nature. I gotta have music. I will turn it off sometimes, but 90% of the time, I've got really
too.
music.
But if I really want to, oh yeah, no, you're right. Music does help. I love doing.
I think it
2 hour
does.
Experience. Yeah, but it's not necessary.
It's
I
not.
leaving it and allowing my brain to do what it needs to do for 3 hours.
Yeah, I would say like so for the first hour, while you're, building up, the brain chemicals are just starting to squirt.
That first
This-
hour is not good, actually.
yeah,
That place, there's a huge war going on.
for sure.
Hour.
Yeah, but once you get to the really, probably at 60 minutes with music, and you've been walking at a brisk pace. It really starts to get amazing. Like, again, it's just that cocktail of the happy chemicals in your brain really start triggering all kinds of wild emotions and thoughts, and the past, ideas for the future, and definitely.
Yep.
And I am trying to get off my phone. I really, I guess you could just do pen and paper, obviously, but up until now, I was using my phone to like definitely record my thoughts. So do one of the two. So you get advice. Don't let all those ideas go to waste and be forgotten. Document them, please, because there are some really good ideas, right?
That's what I used to
You'll
do.
come up with some crazy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so I tend to walk around, especially like the YouTube scripts, or the last few years I've been working on a comic. I haven't mentioned that, but a lot of it's about characters and ideas, and that's again like the easiest way to get it all happening is to walk on my phone. And it's a horrible image walking around on your phone, but it's the most productive way to do it. I found other ways, and on this 3 or 4 hour walk I did last year, I did come up with enough ideas, but you had to get up to the 2 hour point that your mind could focus,
Right.
get the ideas and start putting them together, and then they stay in your mind. And then I was able to come home and write it all. And in high school, luckily there was none of that technology for me. I'm just in that generation where
in between Y and Z, or
Yeah,
something like
Gen
that.
Y, but YouTube was after university for me,
Oh,
luckily.
okay.
Yeah, and I used to write. I wrote like 2 novels in my final years of high school. Terrible novels, but anyway. But I would go on a bike
Are they
ride.
published? Self-published?
Yeah, like sticky taped together and passed around at school. Yeah,
Okay.
not really.
Okay.
But I put a lot of work
Love to
into
read
it.
it, but
Yeah, one of them's alright. But yeah, like I'd have to go on a bike ride every day to write that. So I'd do a ride by the beach for 2 hours, come home, and then I was able to pour it all down and get into that flow. And without that bike ride, I wasn't able to do it.
yeah, no, I totally get it. Yeah, and to feed your head to, yeah, Tom York is an INFP for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. With his, yeah, he's amazing. Yeah, Radiohead is. I'll be honest. I haven't listened to their full discography, but I was like so. And I guess it's why I almost like Pavlovian mentioned OK Computer. Earlier when he was Radiohead.
Yeah.
OK Computer is like just ridiculous. I mean, that is.
I listen to it most days of my life. I'm very obsessed with Radiohead to like the biblical degree. Like I'm in that zone, and
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, such a certain kind of number. Yeah, 4 Enneagram INFP with all the 4 stuff.
Oh yeah,
Got
yeah,
me through my
100%.
university years, and yeah. But
I should. Well, so 2 things. Oh, real quick for because I would say we talked about the walking, and so a lot of people. I know how easy it is to like not walk. Like
Yes.
I just mentioned, you were in the office, but you do have to make time. And I'm speaking to myself now too. Like I did mention, like put it on a calendar. Like you've got to just do it. Like you've got to figure out a time because you're missing out. Like Peter, you would agree 100%. If you're not doing this as an INFP, you're missing out on one of the best things there is. And once you get to that, and also like you do have to work up. Like don't go out tomorrow if you haven't been walking and try and do 2 hours. It's gonna suck, and you're gonna be completely exhausted for the next 3 days. Don't. Yeah, you got to work up to it. 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hour. But you've got to put it on the calendar. Whatever you have to do that will make you do it. Please do it.
Make it a habit, and then great thing as an INFP, SI child, you
Yeah.
once you establish your pattern and your routine, you can stick to it pretty well.
Agree.
Yeah, I have to walk. I don't do any before this live stream. I just did an hour walk. I had to. There's just no doubt about it, and I did it. I know. And yeah, and I mean, maybe as I get, I'm 36 now.
Okay.
In my 20s, I did long walks all the time, but very sporadic ones. But then it'll go to naught when I'm being a 21-year-old INFP on the floor in my room for a month, miserable, and then catching diseases. I used to get sick all the time because you're just going to the death spiral, and I don't do that anymore at all. I don't get sick like that. It's just I've got memories of being 21 and staying in my room for weeks and weeks in misery, and I never want to go back there again, and I won't.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day has to have the walks. I have to eat properly. I have to
That's
sleep,
huge too.
do all that because it's hard to be, especially if you're off in the clouds. And the other thing I want to say about walking is walking helps you realize, hey, I'm a human being in the world, and look, there's a bird and there's a cat over there. And you just need constant reminders that you are just a person on the planet. You're not just in your head.
No, yeah, for sure. It adjusts your perspective where it needs to be. Yeah, because sometimes, again, like when you're in the bad spot as a female, yeah, because I've definitely been to the death spiral for sure. Like with or without a pandemic, we can get there pretty easily, like no problem. But yeah, when you get out and walk and you just see the world, basically, it just adjusts your perspective. It's like, okay, yeah,
Yeah, you get lost in your.
you get
thoughts.
balanced again.
Yeah, that's it. You just got to engage with the world because it's too easy not to sometimes, and especially in the current world, it's too easy to
Yeah.
do that.
Screens are
Screens.
Awful.
It's a
Awful.
problem. The DC Style Files is a good friend of mine.
Yes.
Yeah, he's an amazing INFP. I urge everybody to check out the DC Style Files YouTube channel.
Yes, please.
One of my
And I
favorites.
saw yeah, so Peter mentioned you, DC Style Files. I hope you don't mind. And, I said, oh, I've got to see his channel. And I looked at the channel and I saw, so I don't know if, I had seen his channel before you had sent the link to me. But now he has he goes on some journeys, some 8-hour journeys. Like his videos are 8 hours, guys. So
Yeah.
you need to settle in.
Only a few of them were. He
There's okay. Well, I saw quite a few, but no, I would love to go on that journey. And definitely looks like he's. Again, I haven't seen many of the videos, but he's definitely into fashion. I love fashion.
He actually
myself.
he worked in my government office. That's
Oh,
how I
no
met
kidding.
him. And it was after years and years of just feeling like an alien. Just the way he dressed and acted, and you could see it in his eyes.
Mhm.
I think I was just leaving the bathroom one day, and I saw this new guy, and he said hi. He didn't just ignore me. He nervously said hi, and he had these certain eyes. I was like, who?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, 100%.
When you ask an INFP a question, they go, oh, and then they look down, I think, and then they answer something, and they
Yeah.
And one
It's-
day,
yeah,
was just
I
being
know,
school,
I know.
And one day, I just looked at him when I was like, "Are you an INFP?" Randomly, not just assuming he knows what all this stuff is.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I get it. 100%. Had he already taken the test? Did he know he was an IFP at that point?
Done it, but I was just assuming. I didn't know him well at that point at all. But I was just thinking, who's an INFP? And I thought, well, he must be. He can't
Yeah.
be any other type. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a pretty easy way to deduce an INFP because so many other types just don't add up. So you can just very easily, deduce an INFP just by trial and error. It's just
It's weird. It's like a mix of being kind of socially awkward, but really good at being social at the same time. Super warm with a nervousness and super individualistic, but not in an aggressive way.
Let me ask. No, I 100% agree. And this is, I'm going to bring in another question that kind of is in line with that. And this is for DC Style Files and you and whoever else. But so today I had 2 incidents in the last week. I'll mention the first one first. So 2 days ago, I was getting some gas, and a man approached me and said, "Hey, I just live down the road. Can you just give me a ride?" And he came close to me and looked me straight in the eye. I was nervous as hell, you don't usually. And he looked sane, but he was in jogging pants and a t-shirt. He looked pretty drunk, I would say, and I was in that dilemma because any INFP male in that situation absolutely wants to just say, yeah, get in the car and let's just go. And I want to, well, I don't want to be cliche, but I want to heal him. I want to so what's going on? Why do you need a ride? What's going on? But on the flip side, I'm scared. Is he just going to get in the car and then put a gun in my head and say, okay, go here, go here, go here? You know what I'm saying? And so, it's a dilemma. And so I just said, I can't, and I'm sorry. And then luckily some other guy came up and started talking to him, and I was just and got the hell out of there. But today I went for lunch and fast food restaurant, and I went in, and when I came out, this guy came out, same kind of dude, and this guy was a little more shady, tattoos everywhere. And he's but he asked politely. He's like, "Hey, I just need to ride to Laurel Lane down the road. Do you think you can give me a ride?" And it's just that freaking conflict again. I'm one side's I absolutely, just get in the car. I just want to talk to him. I want to hear him out. I want to just do what I can. But again, on the flip side, is he going to carjack me or because you don't know. INFPs are gullible. We are naive. We are too trusting,
Yeah,
all the rest of it. And I told him, "Oh, I'm in a rush. I'm sorry," and I kind of chickened out. But so when I'm leaving, though, I'm always like, what could that have turned into? What amazing kind of relationship or something if I just kind of took the risk, You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And so, and so just to back up, like we were just, because you were kind of talking like when you met File Styles for the first time, Style Files. Sorry, I thought.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that was the question. Like, what? I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I know you understand it. I mean, I know you, sympathize with that, or not sympathize. What's the word? Like, you understand that kind of dilemma in the moment. But like, what would y'all do? If that makes sense. So yeah. So it's like if there's someone who's obviously not terribly well, but
no, I'm pretty bad. I mean, I'm pretty not bad. I mean, I'm pretty suspicious. I ignore a lot of people. In general, that's how I travel. I'm pretty closed off and careful. I mean,
okay, yeah.
Only if they're like some people you just know it's fine. Some people you just can completely trust, but it's rare.
Yeah, but it's the other thing though. Like we do have a good kind of judgment of character for the most part, I think.
I think so.
Until we're like our heads are blown off, and you're like, well, maybe that wasn't such a good idea, but I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things though. Like you just think about it, and you're just like, because hypothetically, if that person did just kind of need a ride, and because it was hot. I mean. I don't know the street he was going to. I don't know how far that was or whatever, but I'm sure it would have sucked walking all that way for sure, But, yeah, you just kind of wonder what could have been. Like, man, I probably could have changed this guy's life, if I.
Yeah.
And those moments are, anyways.
Yeah, that's everyday life, though, isn't it?
It is. It is. So, but I wonder, like, here's the funny thing, though. The first event, when I was at the gas station, when I left, I was like, okay, all right, that's going to be the last time. The next person who asks for help, I'm going to deliver. I'm going to be that guy. And then it happened like 2 days later, and I failed again. Yeah. Sorry, man, I'm in a rush. Got to go. It's like, What are you going to do, though? I mean.
Like in the apartments I live in, I'm very, very private.
Yeah. Well, Melbourne's pretty. I mean, but Melbourne's probably a little bit different too. I mean, I don't know. I think Melbourne's probably pretty clean, and maybe. And I don't want to be disparaging upon, folks that are struggling, but like San Antonio has a fair amount of riffraff, right? That need help, and I want to help them. But Melbourne's I think probably maybe pretty clean, and maybe not too many people asking for rides, kind of thing.
No, I suppose not. No.
Yeah.
But I've got a friend who's an INFP as well, a very suburban INFP friend. Grew up in the other suburbs. He's Indian, and there's a different background there, and he spends a lot of time driving aimlessly. And I love hearing his stories. He'll be like, he was waiting in a drive-through one night at midnight after working at a hospital, just trying to get a burger before going home, and some woman starts smashing on his car and asking. Can you let me in your car so I can go through the drive-through and get a big shake or something? And he's the kind of guy that goes, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really lets her in. And then I'm going to be, oh, all right. And he buys her all this stuff. And she offered him sex. And he's like, no. And then, can you drive me home? Sure. He's one of them. I love his stories. They're amazing.
Yeah.
But he's a certain item. He's the kind of guy. He would be driving around at 3 a.m. in the northern suburbs of Melbourne, and he sees an Ethiopian cafe open, and he's just like, "Oh, there's no one in there." Oh.
I've got to support him. I got to support him.
And he's so angry. He's so angry that he has to do this now, as if the person in there is like.
I so relate to this. My God.
And he goes in there and he goes, "Hi," and the guy's just like, "Yeah." This Ethiopian guy's like, "Hi, what do you want?" And he lied. Oh, I guess I want a coffee. What kind of coffee? Because he doesn't drink coffee. Cappuccino, and starts drinking it with him. And he's thinking to himself, obviously, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I couldn't just drive past this place. And then there's just an awkward silence. And the Ethiopian guy goes, "Do you play FIFA like on PlayStation?" He's like, Yeah, and goes into the back room and they play FIFA together.
Sweet.
And then they're like choosing teams and
Hashtag INFP.
yeah, and the Ethiopian guy chooses Ethiopia, and my friend chooses Italy, and then he goes, "Oh no," because Italy,
He's gonna dominate. It's gonna be like 10 to
oh,
nothing.
no, my friend was like, "Oh no, Italy occupied Ethiopia." And
Oh, okay.
and now he's got this in his head, and he's panicking that he's caused offense to this guy. I'm just like, 3 a.m. This is how you're spending your life, man. Like,
That's a great story. Oh my gosh. That does make me wonder what Enneagram type he is, because like you mentioned, like anytime there's an INFP that just is like a little different than you, you're just like, well, I wonder what his INFP or Enneagram is, because I think that mostly explains it.
I think
What Enneagram do you think he is?
I assume he's a 9, but he's not a 4. Oh, I don't know, he might be a 4. He's the kind of guy who doesn't do anything creative, but he does randomly know 5 different languages and doesn't tell anybody why. And,
Interesting.
Maybe he is a 4. I don't know. Or some other type.
The compulsion to stop and support a dead restaurant. That's kind of 9 though. I feel the 9 vibes there. Like I can relate to that totally.
Yeah,
But not that 4s don't. I mean, we all do. But you know what I'm saying. Like I just.
yeah. I think it's like you're an INFP, but then you've got like your family and these influences and your parents and everything else, and that changes so much about your cognitive functions as well.
No, for sure. Yeah, there is nature nurture, and I did like early on after like I first found out about INFP, and I've had a video on my parents' divorce and how that probably shaped me, but I did see some, and now this wasn't, if I remember correctly, this was like on Reddit, so take it with a grain of salt, but people were saying if you did have some sort of traumatic experience that could knock you into INFP per se, like where you might have been like an INTP or something else, but you had something traumatic happen in your life, and it kind of knocks you into INFP, like you're, after this.
Because I'm from a divorced family too. But,
how old were you when they divorced?
I was 9.
Yep. Oh, that's the worst, man.
To you. But I still believe I'm born INFP, and
yeah, sure.
It's just the cognitive functions I think that change a bit. We've got a comment from Feed Your Head says we've got a few. Nephro says don't feel guilty for protecting yourself. Thank you. And Feed Your Head says what's my Enneagram? I've got 4 the majority of times, but once I got a 9 and once I got a 5. But I think I'm a 4. Maybe I just like to think I'm a 4. And more.
Oh yeah, we can show these, right? See.
Girlfriend are INFP.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just learning this. This is my first time using StreamYard. Sorry, guys.
When they're drunk on wine, it gets interesting. Well, yeah, I mean, I've definitely been drunk on wine with INFPs, and it is interesting.
Well, yeah, this is an interesting topic, and I know more McGill. That name is very familiar. I've seen you around the INFP circles. Yeah, so I mean that's interesting in INFP because INFP HD, he had a great video talking about he was very curious about. Yeah, right. You saw that?
Yeah, I've watched that 20 times.
Yeah, and I agree with him. I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Now you've got to.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I fall in love with INFPs a lot. Yeah, there's been a long pattern of that.
Yep.
But,
yeah. It's not hard for sure, but it's
Romeo and Juliet and all.
What's that?
Like that's Romeo and Juliet, and there's a Dostoevsky novel, short story about it as well.
But you just have to take care of. So, like, I have 2 cousins. They're married. They're both ENFPs. It was funny. We had a conversation about MBTI at the beach like 2 years ago. Or it was a year ago, actually. We were talking about and so like Erin, she revealed, oh yeah, Paul's ENFP too. And for some reason it didn't really dawn on me. Like, well, of course, yeah, he's ENFP. So my first question was like, so who does your taxes? Because I know y'all don't do your taxes. Like NFPs rarely do their taxes, unless like maybe you're single and you had one job. Okay, it's easy enough, but when you get married and got a business and all this stuff, like fuck no, dude. Like
Make the ISTJ do it. Yeah.
Yep, and my wife does it. She's done the taxes like, yeah, for years and years and years. But it was kind of funny. They both laughed. And yeah, they do go to H&R Block, and they don't they don't do it themselves or whatever. But yeah, but yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so yeah, more McGill, please, if you could just say how things are going so far, and then. I had a lot of childhood trauma as an INFP. My sister is also. I think I would have been an ENFP, possibly otherwise. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. ENFP is definitely possible, but yeah, if there's some trauma, abuse, divorce, whatever, that can make you close in for sure and not be so trusting of the outside world. And right, would you agree, Peter?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah. Down. I mean, I don't know if that. I thought it was the opposite of this comment here. INFPs are one type that I've never met any INFPs dating their own type, but except for me, I've never met anyone else. My theory is that my dad is INFJ, and it makes me appear a little bit INFJ-ish, and that's a trap. That's my theory.
So, I hear you. I hear you. It's just, well, my INFJ friend that I still talk to a lot, again, he's in the doghouse still. Like, I haven't talked to him. Like, he sent me he plays bass, and so he bought this new 6-string bass, and he sent me a recording. Because that's kind of his way of saying, I'm sorry, I know I probably aggravated your anxiety. Listen to my bass and talk to me, please. But he's still in the doghouse, and so I'm not talking to him yet. But anyways, what was I going to say? Oh, I was going to ask you, like, have you met any, because I don't know any INFP females. In my world, I don't know any.
I think I know, I have I know a lot. I know a lot.
Oh, you're lucky. Because I put them on my channel, like I highlight celebrity musician INFP females, but I don't know any. So how many would you say? Like,
about. Oh, actually, in day-to-day life, about 4.
That's pretty. That's pretty good. Wow.
Yeah.
And so you can see yourself dating pretty much any of them.
Yeah. But yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's just it is a bit weird. It's yeah. I mean, it's just a lot of talking.
It would be a lot of talking for sure.
Like, that's the problem. Like, with INFPs, I tend to just go on and on and on, and being angry and exhausted at each other. Can't stop talking, and that's sometimes a problem. I don't know if it's a real problem.
It's really not a problem. It's just so long as duties aren't being neglected. It's just like it seems quite zen-like to me, or it seems very nice.
Yeah,
but feed your head.
I don't think it. Maybe it is a bit zen-like, but I think it's more manic creativity. That's how I see it. It's just constant creativity and silliness. It's like,
Yeah, no, I would enjoy that because, like, so the problem with like my wife and I, and her as an ISTJ, we're both inhibited, and neither of us are initiators for anything. You can read into that what you will, but we're just not. We don't initiate conversation. We don't initiate date nights. We don't initiate anything, because we're both the introverts, and it kind of sucks. But so that's that. We're working on it. That's why I'm working on my blogs, because money does talk, and more money, the less inhibited we'll both be. I promise you. But I wanted to ask though, Featurehead, INFPs are So your sister and her husband are both INFPs. Would you mind sharing how long they've been married, and how they're getting on? That'd be great. And then, two INFPs have to be different Enneagram types.
I think
possibly.
I don't think they have to. But I think there's a lot of love. But the detachment from reality means that when reality hits, it can be a bit difficult if both have.
For sure.
But I don't know.
Well, the problem is like when reality hits, and because I'm going through it right now, because I'm definitely going through a reality bites and hits kind of situation, and INFPs have lots of great ideas to get out of the situation, but they don't really have a lot of action.
No.
Like I've been, yeah. So I'll just leave it there. Y'all know what I mean. It's like we have great ideas, but the execution part, yeah, not so much.
No. It's very difficult. Unless you've got, that's why I think INFPs aren't very good at action at all. They can just do routine, and routine can
Yeah.
make it happen just by being stuck in that. But
I have came up with so many fantastic ideas sitting on the couch in the morning for like 3 hours drinking coffee. Just absolutely amazing ideas. Don't do shit, because I don't do, I don't execute on any of them, but which is why I'm still, yeah, anyways, you get it.
I get it. But it's
What do
great
you
when
think?
get into action mode.
Oh, say again?
When you are in action, I can sometimes, there have been
True.
times in my life where I get into pure action mode, and
That's our TE, right? If I'm getting that correct? The TE,
Yeah.
that is kind of like our CEO.
yeah, TE mode, and
But
thinking rationally, and I think
it's
but I think it's SI sometimes as well. SI is the real driving force. The whole
okay.
keep the routine going. All right, I've got this system in place. DC style files knows a lot about this. He's very systematic with how he's creative. He has very clear structures on how he works, and you do it at the same time every day. And that's how I work too. No matter how I
Interesting.
feel, no matter how I feel, doesn't matter. You've got to work at this time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get you float off.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, I get that. What do you think about INFP and ESTJ as our optimal match? No. Well, INFP female, ESTJ male, all day. INFP male, ESTJ female.
My brother's an ESTJ who just broke up with his INFP girlfriend, or she ran away. But I shouldn't say that on this. Anyway.
Yeah, moving on. Let's see. We got just
ESTJ
okay.
females, and I was scarred by ESTJ females growing up. I'm still scarred from it. So many
They don't-
ESTJ women yelling at me all the time.
Yeah.
I can't get past it.
Well, they just don't. I mean, I can't speak for an ESTJ, but I like my wife. A lot of the stuff I do, she just doesn't understand, like on any level. You know what I mean? So that can be really tough. I imagine it's much the same with an ESTJ. So
It's a bit, but ISTJs have that real individualism thing they love, so they might admire. I think they admire INFPs for that on some level in a big way.
yeah, but they don't express it very much.
No.
If they do feel that way, I certainly haven't heard that per se. But
ESTJs are different. ESTJs really admire INFPs because they've got extroverted intuition child, and
okay.
fire for FI, so that they tend to like INFPs eventually if the INFP, as long as the INFP is not being too mopey or all of those stereotypes.
Pathetic. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can be pathetic sometimes, for sure.
I'm a very pathetic man.
Yeah.
But like as I get older, I get on fine with ESTJs, and I like them a lot. I can sometimes feel quite comfortable with them because you can feel something, the dualism.
Yeah, and they are real too. As far as authenticity goes, which you appreciate, SCJs are super authentic. You're gonna get,
Right.
you're gonna know what they're thinking for sure. They're not gonna, it's just 2 years married, but they have been together like 9 years. They are.
And
There are-
ESTJs. Oh, sorry.
Well, there are periods of intenseness and some conflict, but overall they do pretty well. Yeah, every marriage is gonna be tough. Like the INFP ENFJ is gonna be tough. Shit happens, right? So.
I will say, what I've noticed with INFPs and males and females from my past is when I thought we were drifting apart, all of a sudden it's like 20 years and, we're still in contact. Oh, we've still got a bond. Even like girls that like you, I might have ghosted or something.
Yeah.
Or they ghosted me or something, but then all of a sudden 10 years down the line, you're still on good terms. I've noticed that with INFPs. I like that. I think it's in the long term, and the loyalty is a huge thing as well. I think they can both be just so loyal. They might go down together on that ship together. I don't know.
Right. No, that's a very good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah,
INFPs are loyal for sure, and I mean ICJs are too. I think maybe that's why
yeah.
we have stood the test of time. It's been 21 years. It'll be 22 in January.
That's a long
That's a
time.
it's a long time, and I think it's the loyalty with both our types. But all right, yeah, it is closing on 8:30. I do have to go pick up my daughter pretty soon, so we're gonna get through these comments and probably close her out.
Yeah.
Okay, glad to hear other INFP couples out
I
there.
love some of these comments.
Yeah. Okay, let's get through them. Enneagram 9, and she is a 4, which is an interesting combo.
I think it's a good combo.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I've dated Enneagram 9 INFP. I say dated like, 1 or 2 dates, but like it was a pretty good date.
Well, yeah,
Very
no,
calm.
no, for sure.
Mm.
If it's 2 days, I mean, is it really 2 days if you're experiencing it till now? Like, how long ago was that relationship? Maybe.
16 years ago. But
Yeah. If you're still can cherish those moments, then it wasn't just 2
yeah,
days.
yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my brother have traveled together, an ESTJ and INFP, and it all came to a huge conflict with the INFP me snapping and getting violent on the ESTJ. I actually violently attacked him in a peaceful.
Well, that's the demon. So what's the demon? Explain the demon to me, because that's one thing I don't really know.
No,
I know you can push an INFP to a point, and then the demon comes out.
Yeah, the ISTP demon, the James Bond shoot to kill.
Oh, was that what happened with you? Do you think?
Yeah, he pushed me too far. I was trying to find a place, and he was like, "Where is it?" And I was like, "Well, let's just go down this road. I don't care if we get lost. Just tell." And just yelled at me and said something about being sick of me. Got angry at how nice I am I'm overly nice to people, and I grabbed his arm and I got violence on him for that. He was like attacking my niceness, so I had to. And he didn't fight back. He's like, "You're getting physical." And my brother's someone who gets in fights all the time.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I was like, "Oh my god!"
Well, when the demon engages, I guess you just don't care anymore. You don't care about anything. It's just
Yeah, and a lot of people would have like attacked me back, and my brother was so zen-like. He just went quiet, and he just went sit there, and he just bought me like a Sri Lankan curry by this ocean with turtles everywhere, and he just gave me a beer and
wow.
cheers, mate. And I was like, "Oh my, that's amazing!" My brother was like so strong and resilient at his older brother trying to attack him. That's something nice about an ESTJ. He was just like, he must have just been like, "What's he doing? Why is he trying to attack me? He doesn't." This is ridiculous. And he just showed that strength. And
How are y'all now? Like right now? Yeah, today. So
always good. Yeah, I just don't go drinking with him.
Could end badly, perhaps. No, well, so
I wouldn't. It wouldn't.
what do you think about So the his ESG brother here, and they don't get along at all. That's
the ESTJ's got to grow sometimes. The INFP's got to grow. That's all it is. Like, I've noticed with ESTJs, they want to open up to me. They want to talk about anxiety to me. That's what I trigger in them. They're like, "Oh, I can open up to this person," and that's the nice thing that can happen, I think, with it. I love this comment. Yeah, look at this. I bet an INFP in attack mode. Sorry, that's a bit further down. Is amusing. I think it is too. I reckon I would look so. I have gotten angry and in front of everyone before and done like, I'm like having a. I think I once hit my head on a table in front of everyone and yelled, and everyone just laughs.
yeah, they just.
I'm like, I don't even know this background. Why is everyone laughing?
I don't know. Like an INFP, like I know, like when I know, because if I look back at my marriage, like I can think of 3 times where probably the SE demon came out, and it can be terrifying. And like my ENFJ girlfriend, that was like when I was in the Navy in San Diego. She told me she mentioned like, "God, you get scary sometimes," and and I don't remember. I guess it did happen a couple of times. I was with her for about 2 years, and she would tell me that, like there's a couple of times where you just like you get scary. And I'm like, whoa, okay.
So that is a thing. I don't know why I'm thinking of South Park now, but the character of Butters in South Park goes into the chaos mode. That's his demon. The INFP being a demon and getting destruction.
Yeah, I feel bad because I don't know South Park all that well, but I know he is like an INFP.
Yeah.
And my daughter, she's a big South Park fan, and yeah, she loves Butters, and so
Professor Chaos, and when he's like trying to destroy the world, it's stuff like he sneaks into a restaurant and he puts the mayonnaise into a tomato bean and swaps it around, and people put the wrong thing on it.
oh my gosh, I gotta watch that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Like Frodo when he goes after Gollum with Sting. With Sting. Well, I'm trying to think. That was, I guess, in Return of the King. That was in the last movie, I suppose, right? Oh, and let me go ahead and give INFP HD some more shit here. If he's watching, I don't know if he's watching or not, but every INFP has to see the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I mean, and I do recommend they have. What's that?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, that's because of your hate of New Zealand. It was filmed in New Zealand, and you have a bias against New Zealand, which okay, I got it. But just no. If you watch it from beginning to end, like you can't watch like the first one and then a couple of months later watch the second one, and then it's okay. But if you watch them all in succession, you'll get it. And again, as I tried to explain to INFP HD, like it's not really about that Frodo is possibly an INFP and this and that. It really has nothing to do with any of the characters being INFP. It just has to do with the story arc, the good versus evil, and like this ultimate triumph of good over evil. Is like it makes you'll go into a wanderlust. But I'll leave it there. I don't want to go off on that. But yeah, watch it and just get over your New Zealand bias. And
No, I will watch it. I will.
but please do it all in one day. Like just go to the store, get like loads of snacks and beer. Beer would be great. And what were you drinking, by the way? What was that? It looked like it was very dark, whatever it was,
I have no
which is
idea
good.
what this is. It's called Three Ravens, chocolate oatmeal.
Stout?
Oatmeal. Yeah, this one's double chocolate stout.
Okay, Young's. Oh, great, of course. Yeah, great. So stouts are amazing. Yeah, load up on stouts, snacks, and just go for it. And trust me, you'll thank me later.
All right.
INFP type 9 rages are super rare, but are super volcanic. Oh, hell yes. Like I threw stuff. I've got indentations in the wall from things I've thrown at the wall in heated debates with my ICJ wife. Yeah, no, they are insane for sure. But I'm INFP 4 for sure. You're a 4, right? You said you're a 4.
Yeah, you're a 4? No, you're a 9.
I'm a 9.
You're a 9. I'm a 4. I think I keep getting 4 whenever I do the test.
Well, yeah, and Enneagram is definitely, I think, for INFP, they're very. I first tested as a 2. Yeah, I thought that was very weird. But I have seen videos where 2s and 9s are lookalikes. And there are other Enneagram types that are also lookalikes. But anyways, I did take it again, and I was a 9. And when I read 9, I'm like, yeah, we have to have harmony. We have to have interior harmony. Like, or we just. That's why COVID messed me up so bad. I think all INFP 9s were really damaged. Well, it's not damaged. That's a little over dramatic, but yeah. Lord of the Rings is the only story written by an INFP and adapted into a film by an INFP. Yes.
That's not true. What about all the Tim Burton films? But
Yeah.
well, maybe that's different for that.
Yeah, we could do that another day. But Tim Burton, yeah, definitely an INFP. And Guinness. Yes, we do need to have Guinness for sure. But yeah, the whole. Yeah, maybe I'll save it. But yeah, because I do have a video that I had hidden for a while, but I did make it public again. But about Johnny Depp and Edward Scissorhands and.
I saw that.
Oh, did you see it? I don't.
I was doing the dishes the other day.
I had it hidden for a long time. Say again.
I very much enjoyed it. Yeah, your thoughts on it. You weren't happy with his behaviour. I think C.S. Joseph is an ENTP, but that's C.S. Joseph, so I don't know. I think he is an INFP, Johnny Depp, and I don't think he's a particularly healthy one. Same as Nicolas Cage, who's definitely an INFP, but they're in Hollywood. And
Yeah, Nicolas Cage, I have no idea. I just don't know him well enough. I haven't seen enough of his interviews and stuff. I mean, I've seen his movies, of course, but I haven't seen interviews enough to know. But Johnny Depp, and this is what I put on the personality database website.
yeah.
And I was kind of a little bit harsh on him in the personality database entry for Johnny Depp, but I just basically said I don't think we really know what type Johnny Depp is because when he's in front of the camera, I don't think he's being his true self. So
No.
he very well could be an INFP. I have no idea, but a lot of
not-
times
yeah.
I think he's acting. He's acting a lot.
But that's a very INFP thing.
Well,
do you know,
true.
I'll tell you a musician who I never thought was an INFP, and he is an INFP, is David Bowie. I really thought he was like an INTJ for ages or something. Now I know he's an INFP. He really is an INFP, but it was there's something about him which is so hard to read. It was really hard to work out.
Oh, that would be like a good. Like, we should do a live stream again. I think we've established that we should probably do another live stream. I think that's pretty well established now. But David Bowie, I would love to just do a live stream on just your thoughts on David Bowie because I could see him as an INFJ. Like you mentioned, Nick Cave. Like Nick Cave and David Bowie are like kind of similar, you know?
I could go on forever. I'm smashing my case of why he's an INFP. And very interesting INFP, and it would make people really see that how INFPs could be really different than the.
Well, yeah, right. No, I agree, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I definitely can see Bowie as INFP, no doubt. But
Well, it's interesting though that he comes across as an INFJ. That's what's so interesting. Like he's an INFP. I'm being really stubborn.
yeah,
about that.
well, but he's moody. He's moody a lot, and like.
But he doesn't come across as like Tom York. You're like, of course he's an INFP. David Bowie's like, I couldn't accept that for a long time. I
Right.
wanted to. I was obsessed with Bowie, but I didn't think he'd be an INFP. But he is, and
Yeah, but
you
what?
just gotta go through like his approach to it, and then there's a lot of you can back it up pretty well once you really read enough biographies and look at it all.
Yeah, no, I have no doubt. And honestly, if you look at, and I did watch this recently, but the live performance of Bowie and Morrissey doing Cosmic Dancer, and if you just look at, but if you just look at the way Bowie looks at Morrissey and just the way they on stage, the way they kind of like, it's a great moment. And Morrissey talks about how he was like literally scared shitless on stage. It's very.
They had a big falling out after that.
Well, yeah, but
Morrison's fault.
it's well, yeah. His mouth is
Main.
big mouth strikes again.
Exactly.
But anyways, I mean, it's hard to imagine Morrissey as starstruck by anyone, but he did mention like on stage he was like nervous as hell. But okay, so let's broach that topic next time. Okay, like Bowie is INFP. I definitely want to pick your brain about that. We have a type in each center actually, so you can be both.
I know I've been brooding over this comment for a bit.
Wait, I'm sorry. Like this one here is 9%, so I'm not, feeling it, which is two INFPs, in-ebriated, right? So I'm there. We have a type in each center actually, so you can be both. I'll just let you feel that because I think I'm too drunk to understand it.
INFPs are really good at pretending they know what they're talking about, and I'm going to pretend I know what you're talking about now in this comment. But the thing I will say is I've been doing certain tests recently on cognitive functions, and it's just like I'm an INFP, but my NI is really high, and there's all these funny things that go on. And my TE is non-existent though, apparently. But my TI is good. So I don't know what the type in each center means, but I mean I mainly just go with the 4 sides of the mind thing these days. I'm just like, you're an INFP, you're an ESTJ, you're an ISTP, you're an ENFJ. I like thinking of things like that, but I don't think it's that simple. I'm rambling.
Okay, well,
thank you for the comment. Feed your head. I'm gonna look into that.
You guys should watch some Terrence Malick films. Major INFP vibes.
I'll do that.
I'm ashamed to admit I haven't heard of him actually. But yeah, for sure.
I tend to watch INFJ films all the time. That's my thing. All my favorite directors are INFJs. Like P.T. Anderson. I'd love to talk about how I don't know if you've watched his films. P.T. Anderson's a great.
What films are those?
My favorite film ever is Punch Drunk Love by P.T. Anderson. He did Boogie Nights.
Oh, that was Adam Sandler, right?
Yeah.
Punch Drunk Love. I don't think I watched that movie, to be honest with you.
It's about 2 INFJs in love. That's a great INFJ romance.
I bet that was around 95, 96. 95, 96. It was a warp for me because when I was in the Navy, I went
Yeah,
I was
you're
out of the
Italian.
States. And so like a lot of stuff just like,
It was an indie film that came, a little indie gem that came out in 2002, and yeah, I was in university and love struck, so that's why I was so obsessed with that amazing film. But yeah, it's
but,
so brilliant.
it was Drew Barrymore, you said, right? Wasn't that Drew
No, no,
Barrymore?
no, it's not the wedding singer.
Oh, no,
Punch,
no, no. Was that the wedding singer?
Punch Drunk Love is Emma. What's her name? What's Emma? What? And Adam Sandler.
Oh,
And it was
okay.
his first serious role, and as a mouthpiece for P.T. Anderson. And
Okay.
P.T. Anderson's an INFJ who was going out with Fiona Apple, who's an INFP, but their relationship fell apart, and then he met an ENFP on the set of Saturday Night Live, and he's been married to the ENFP ever since. And I think Punch Drunk Love came out at that time.
Okay.
And wrote this romance about a uptight INFJ. Yeah, that's a complete sidetrack again, but
Well, we've got a lot for the next one for sure. So we're gonna go through these comments, and then I've got to go pick up my daughter.
yeah.
Let's see. Johnny Depp's first movie was What's Up, Gilbert Grape. Is him at his most INFP. I also think of Benny and June. It's been so long. I've watched Gilbert Grape. God, that was a long, long time ago. I probably need to watch both of those again. Would you say, or would you agree? Edward Scissorhands is like, again, the poster boy. Like, it's hard to imagine.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen Edward Scissorhands?
I might watch it today. I'll just go watch it after this. That's ridiculous that I haven't seen that.
Well, weirdly, as strange as it may sound, like I don't think it's aged well. Like I do remember liking Edward Scissorhands when it first came out, way more than when I watched it recently. But it's still amazing, and he's so over Gilbert Grape or Benny and June. I have to watch those again, so we'll see. But no, yeah, watch Edward Scissorhands. It's incredible, and Winona Ryder is like absolutely fantastic.
Too many comments. The next comment, I've got too much to say about all this. Nick Cave and PJ Harvey.
Oh yeah, well yeah. Let me
I've got
lead
news
through
for-
some
I've got
director
news for
though.
you, but this might be controversial. I think Nick Cave and PJ Harvey are both INFJs in my opinion. I know Nick Cave's an INFJ.
Yeah, and you had mentioned like I watched his videos and yeah, it's unquestionable. He's an INFJ. PJ Harvey, I don't know. Like I know her music from the '90s, but
she's an INFJ too, actually. But C.S. Joseph said she's an ISFJ. But I think she's an INFJ. Anyway,
well, a lot of musicians always get typed as the ISFP or ISFJ, but
yeah.
oh yeah, C.S. Joseph. I mean, I don't know. He is pretty good, but you guys are lightweights. I was expecting much more drunkenness. Mind you, I'm from London, England. Well, hey, we gave Young's Stout good props there, and I do love. Like honestly, I love Iron Maiden's brew. Like they have their own brew. Well, I mean, there's a lot of great brews from England, obviously, but Boddington's. I love Boddington's. Boddington's is probably shite there. But how do Londoners like Boddington's?
Yeah, that's a question.
Let me know. Right? Do you get Boddington's there?
I've got no idea. I tend to drink a lot of local pale ales all the time.
Oh yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Great stream though. Hey, appreciate it. Yeah. I need to see that. Yeah, for sure. I need to watch that.
Yeah.
Oh, Adam Sandler's pretty great though. He is like if you watch his, I would say watch his last stand up from about 3 years ago, if only for his tribute to Chris Farley at the end. As an INFP, you'll freaking cry your eyes out. Trust me. Yeah. So his stand up is like in 2021. It's a good B plus, but watch the Chris. Oh, you can just Google it. Just go to YouTube and watch Chris Farley tribute Adam Sandler. You'll cry your eyes out. It's freaking amazing, and he's a great lyricist. He's a great comedic lyricist for sure. You'll love it. David Finch, INFJ director for sure. Although, David Finch is a little dark for me. How do you think? Like, so when you're watching a David David Fincher. I'm thinking David Lynch.
Yeah,
David Lynch films are a little dark for me. Like I appreciate the artistic quality, but I'm always a little bit like, okay, I need something with a happy ending now.
Okay, I haven't seen. Oh, okay, yeah. I can't watch them.
Oh, which one? David Fincher or Lynch?
Fincher.
Oh,
I think Lynch too. I've got to try a bit harder with Lynch.
well, I think Lynch is an INFP.
I don't believe. Is he really?
I've seen that, but
I've seen it too, but I don't.
very INFJ films. His films are not INFP by any stretch of the
I don't
imagination.
know if he is an INFP, but maybe.
He's probably not.
Yeah.
Oh god, I'm just now okay. Yep. Sister hates INFPs.
He also says
Oh yes.
he's a brilliant type though. He starts
Yeah.
crying and he's like, "I'm doing this for your own good, INFPs. You're the most brilliant type. That's why I'm so harsh on you."
No, it's true.
Years. I just want you to stop being so emotional, INFPs.
No, he's. However, if you look at his original where he breaks down the types,
Yeah.
like in the intro of the INFP, he says well, I almost don't even want to say it here, but I mean, he says we could be the most genius type and all that kind of stuff. Whatever, but he has some very nice things to say about INFPs. Although he can be, he gives a lot of tough love to us for sure.
That's why he was one of my favorites because I needed that tough love.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed. Boddington's is a good beer. It does have 2 D's though, so I'm a little disappointed that. I'm drunk. Sorry, a little bit, but it does have 2 D's. No. Seriously, I'm glad to hear it. I do love Boddington's. It's a good session beer, as they say. It does. I mean, it's like a 4 or 5%. You can have a few without getting absolutely sloshed. Favorite INFP director, probably Neil Jordan, the Irish director. Ooh, I got some homework to do. Never heard of him.
Yeah,
Have you?
It's all good though. No, I haven't. But this is why this is so great.
Yep.
At least to put on a list now.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming onto our stream. And
Yeah.
we didn't really know what we were doing. We just kind of started this, and I really appreciate you guys, the great questions and comments. It's
Next
fantastic.
time we'll drink more.
Yeah, for sure. If I didn't have to meet my daughter, I totally would have had more for sure.
Yeah,
But
don't worry about your daughter. I don't want you to go. Yeah.
well, she's
Snort coke and yeah.
9's the drop dead. What's that? What's coke?
Next time we can snort coke and do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I should tell you about my time in San Diego in the mid '90s. The meth was absolutely insane. Okay, I mean, insane. We'll talk about that next time. Okay, well, moving right along. But there's a reason I'm anonymous on my channel. Like if this channel was public, oh my god, yeah, that would not be good. He says we love status. Like what?
I think subconsciously we do, but he
For sure.
He overemphasizes it.
Okay. Yep. Interview with the Vampires, Neil Jordan.
Neil Jordan.
The Scientologist, the Tom Cruise. That was Tom Cruise's film, right? Brad Pitt, oh god, I apologize. I hope I'm not sounding like a doofus. Interview with the Vampire. That was Tom Cruise, and that was a pretty good film. That was a '90s film. Okay, all right. And
one day I'll show it. I've directed a film too, actually. I haven't got a copy of it. It's a short film for university, and there's an INFP on the other side of Melbourne. I've got to visit him. He's got it on a USB somewhere. But yeah.
Okay. Oh, write it down. Don't forget. I'm gonna ask about this.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
oh, you
thanks
bet.
everyone for
Yes.
DC.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to check out. So Style Files, I really looking forward to your channel, like for sure.
Yeah, it's just
Like,
fantastic.
I'm gonna get a 6-pack of maybe the Nitro. Trust me, this is so good. Yeah, and just dive in. Probably I'll wake up. I have to wake up early. Like I'll probably wake up about 4 a.m, make coffee, make breakfast, start one of the streams. Because trust me, like some of the stuff I did kind of bounce around some of the things, and there was one where he's like cutting fabric and like a real designer, like Christian Dior over here or something, and
He is. I reckon the best stuff he's done is just the last few weeks. His 30-minute DC live to DC.
Okay.
TV. That's the best stuff. The last 10 videos, I highly recommend.
Yeah, I'll do it for sure. Okay. Well, this was like immensely fun and enjoyable, and
Yeah, this is great. Great start to my great drunken start to my Saturday. I feel really good. Great.
awesome. Well, you got to drink more now. You can't just like go to water or coffee. Just walk down to the. You're still in lockdown though. You can still go get like a sixer, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, I recommend that
Yeah.
for sure. And we can maybe check out Edward Scissorhands. Yeah, so Edward Scissorhands with Peter. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad we got to do this because I was so bummed. You know, the last minute cancellation or postponement last week, I felt awful. I was like, oh, he thinks I'm flaking, and
No,
but yeah. So no, I
you know,
appreciate you coming on, and everyone go check out his channel at the Loneliest channel. His videos are so great.
I might
What's
even
that?
make more I might even make more videos based on all this.
You should. Oh, that was the last thing I wanted to ask you, like your plans for the channel, because you've got to kickstart it again for
Yeah,
sure.
I know. Yeah, I might do something like I've bought like a new camera, new lens. I've got all that ready. I might just find a new backdrop, and then that'll give me enough of a reason to make some more videos.
Please do. Please do. And even if you want to do the same format, those are golden. We just need to tag him as comedy so they get discovered.
Yeah, tag them as comedy, and yeah.
Well, and there's many other tags, but you can do some. You can do some basic ads too. You would make a killer YouTube ad. Just trust me, it'll work. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Think about it. All right, sweet.
Thank you again, and thank you everyone who participated. And
Boys, thanks
we'll talk to you soon.
everyone. It's been great. Bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.